Welcome back to Cape Media News. I'm Emily Tellick. Today's guest is Mary Chafee, Select Board Member for the Town of Brewster, and we'll be discussing the Town of Brewster's negotiation efforts to purchase the former Cape Cod Sea Camps property. So the Town of Brewster is negotiating to purchase the Cape Cod Sea Camps property that has been vacant since last year. So can you tell us, what does the Town of Brewster plan to do with the property?
The Town of Brewster has signed a purchase and sale agreement with the owners of the Cape Cod Sea Camps. It was contingent on two things: town meeting approval and special election approval. We have met one of those contingencies now with our town meeting votes, but we also need to approve the ballot measures at our special election on October 5th. There have been no decisions made about the future uses of the sea camps. At this time, our primary goal was to purchase the two sea camps properties and pass the ballot questions. We are aware there are a lot of possible uses of the sea camps, and we plan to determine those through a public engagement process that invites the opinions and thoughts of both full and part-time Brewster residents. I will say a few words about some possible uses. At the town's two public forums and at our town meeting, the select board and town administration have identified possible uses. Many of these were things that the sea camps used the properties for. Both properties have beaches, and I expect Brewster residents will be interested in establishing public beaches, and there's been interest expressed in designating a residents-only beach. Many in Brewster have expressed the desire for a community center for all ages. How we make that happen will be an important part of the planning process for the Sea Camps properties. There are currently buildings on the Bay parcel that could expand the town's capability for meeting spaces and classes, but we'll need to talk about the best way to achieve the community center goal. About half of the pond parcel is in our Zone 2 drinking water recharge area. That's an excellent candidate for conservation, as is the area around the pond on the Bay parcel. The pond parcel has a stretch of frontage on Route 137 that may be a really good location for appropriately scaled and designed community housing. And there are opportunities for generating revenue, as well as offers of contributions from potential partners like the Brewster Conservation Trust and the Massachusetts Audubon Society. They, as well as other groups and some generous private donors, have offered Brewster contributions toward our purchases. We would decide in the public engagement process which of those are right for the town.
And now, September 25th, the Town of Brewster held a special town meeting to discuss this project. So can you tell us, how did that meeting go, and how are residents of Brewster feeling about this project?
I think Brewster voters were really excited on Sunday to make the decisions that were made. First of all, town meeting voters approved Article 1 nearly unanimously. That provided us with authorization to buy the pond parcel. Voters then approved our acquisition of the Bay parcel. The Brewster town moderator said he saw only one no vote out of 1,495 Brewster voters present. And then voters also approved $200,000 in funding for operating and maintaining the properties over the next year or so.
And now, my last question is, what are the next steps in this project? What are you currently working on now?
For the town to purchase the two Sea Camps properties, there were two contingencies that I mentioned. First, Brewster voter approval at town meeting and at the ballot. With the town meeting vote successful, the next step is passing ballot measures at special town election on October 5th. The polls at the Brewster Baptist Church will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And for voters voting by mail, ballots must be returned to the town clerk's office by 8 p.m. on October 5th. If the ballot questions pass, we'll proceed toward the real estate closing, which should be by the end of November 2021. Once the town becomes the legal owner of the properties, we'll immediately begin to protect, secure, and care for them. We are prepared to establish insurance coverage. Our town staff will take over property management and will do septic maintenance, among other things. We'll also begin a careful site assessment of the state of all of the facilities, structures, and roadways on the two properties. We know Brewster residents want to visit these properties, but they remain private property at this time. If the ballot questions pass on October 5th and we buy the camps, the town will host some type of open house and invite people to visit and see what they've invested in.
Well, Ms. Chafee, thank you so much for joining us today. It sounds like there are some very exciting things happening in Brewster, and we look forward to following this story. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Emily. This is indeed an exciting time to be in Brewster, and I appreciate your focus on this issue.